Broadcasting live now. I think it's been actually live for the last 16 minutes.
I tune in. Ice.
Ice on a slice.
Cheers.
Rum.
Come on, we're going to watch Match of the Day.
Coke.
Can you all hear that?
Oh, that bloody dog.
What the hell was that?
My dog.
That's that. Could you hear that?
Yeah.
I could hear a lot of ice and stuff. Right, we're live. Welcome to the first ever Seasiders podcast live broadcast on Google Plus. It's been an absolute fucking disaster getting to this stage. It's now 9:41. It's taken us 40 minutes to get live, but good things come to those who wait. Right, Bolton. We're just going to review the Bolton game, and this is a complete and utter test. I'm going to get the Bolton feed up now. Right, I'll just introduce everybody who's in the room. Firstly, we've got two friends from the US and A this evening. First up, Mr. James Guy. Oh, he's gone! He's gone! Gone.
He'll be back. Yes.
Alright, we'll have our second participant from the USNA. Son of Tam, I think you're known as on ABFTT. Is that right, Sam?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Are you Son of Tam? Yes? No?
He seems to have frozen, doesn't he?
No, he's still moving.
It's the pressure.
Sam, can you hear me?
I can hear
about
you.
me.
Loud and clear.
Why didn't he respond to him?
I'm
I
loud
don't
and
know.
clear.
Time lag.
Tim's fully suited there in his tangerine.
That's me, yeah.
That's Sam, for those who don't know.
That's you, Matt.
Hello. Am I here as well? Can you see me?
Yeah.
All right. It's just weird the way this thing operates.
It flicks in and out, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think it
I can
flicks
hear
in
you,
and out
yep.
between each of the people. So
It's giving me epilepsy, this, I think. I'm actually getting an epileptic fit.
yeah, it's like a weird sort of bad selection process, like the Blackpool starting 11.
Get going. Guys, if it wants to get going, it'll actually work quite well.
A bad selection process. But I think I can actually control what happens. Right, hang on a minute.
You should have the power.
Control room.
So should the manager, but that didn't happen.
Right. Yeah, controls. James, I'm going to give you control as well. There you go. Can you get control?
Great. That's it. You know how us Yanks love control.
The pressure's on me
Appreciate
now.
that, mate. Cheers.
I can feel the drone ahead of me now.
No, that's just you talking, Matt.
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, he's gone. I gave him the power and he's gone.
Sam's complaining that he's hearing everything 2 minutes later.
He's hearing everything 2 minutes later.
Sam, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Oh dear. Sam?
James, you're a professional broadcaster. Can you get this farce under control?
You know, if I could, I'm 400 miles away or so. Anyway, I'm terrible at this part, John. Like, that's why there's a producer.
Matt, I might give you controls. There you go.
I can hear you, yeah.
Matt, I've got the controls.
You're back with
Matt, I've given you the controls.
Right, well, what the hell does that mean?
Fuck knows.
I can't get no more out of her, Captain.
I've got a dog.
Oh my god.
There's a dog! There's a dog!
Ollie.
Ollie.
Right, present to everyone. I want the dog in. Yay! There we go.
Here we go.
Oh, I want the dog back.
Come here. Come here. Come here.
Get
Come here.
off the boat.
If only our right back was so obedient.
Come here.
I get it now. But I have to put. I think if it's Sam. Yeah, there's Sam. There's Tim. There's me. There's Matt. There's James. Right, I think I've sussed it. Right, okay. James, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm James. I'm from America, and I support the.
Oh, that's it! Did you press something then?
No.
I think we're going to have to just work on the basis that we may lose America from time to time.
Okay, I'm back. I mean, sorry.
Right.
Little technical difficulty on this side of the seaside.
Matt, what have you done then?
Go for it, James.
Right.
Okay.
James. Right. We've heard you on the Seaside
It's
podcast
James
before,
from
haven't we?
America.
We've heard you on the Seaside. We've heard your dulcet tones on the Seaside podcast.
Oh, yes.
before.
Yes.
It was
That's
one
right.
of the most
My
famous ever.
mellifluous.
You got yourself an escort on the back of it, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, on Twitter. That was awesome. That was awesome. You know, I think, you know, John, if I may just for a moment shed a little light on the situation, I think that perhaps, maybe you didn't get everyone registered in time. I'm not sure. Because frankly, I can't remember 3 minutes ago.
That was funny.
I'm the club secretary trialist. Yeah.
Secretary trialist.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
in America, see, we start drinking and watching the game at 10 o'clock in the morning, so I've had to go for a while here.
Where's the? I need some sound effects here. I need like a sound applause or something. That was
Tremendous, mate.
Right, over to you, Matt. We know who you are, don't we? Do you need an intro?
I don't think so, really. I mean, no, I just drink a lot and watch football occasionally. In between drinking.
Over to Tim. Shall we give Tim a opportunity to talk, because we may all be silent for 5 minutes while he goes into his spiel.
I thought we had 8 hours filming.
Put it this way, he's the only one with a professional microphone and headset.
Well, yeah, there he is. Oh, we've lost James. Where's the dog? Can you introduce the dog? I'm more interested in the dog. Tim, I'm more interested in the dog. Can we see more of the dog?
You want more of the dog here? I'll get the dog in a bit. He's just in shot.
Is it he or she?
It's a he. He's called Ollie.
Ollie!
Come here. No, he's not moving. He's not for moving.
Should have called him Francois Zoko.
He's Ollie named after you know who.
Oh, of course, yeah. He was still our manager then when we got him.
Oh, them were the days, eh?
They were.
And you all know me.
There'll be a tear in my eye any second.
We've lost Son of Tam, by the way, if you haven't noticed.
Lost what?
Tangerine.
Oh yeah, it's gone.
Son of Tam's gone.
Yeah.
He was asking for an invite again, but
Right, so we're waiting for Son of Tam. But in the meantime, let's talk about today's game. Tim, we met up, didn't we, in the Sam tie?
while you tried to give me some instructions as how to do this.
Hang on, I've got three messages of some time. I had the Sam tie no frills lager today in the Son of Tam. Have you seen that?
That's all right.
Have you had it, Matt?
Yeah, for £2.50.
Yeah, £2.50. No, I had mine as a top, as a lager top, £2.50.
Oh, what
I said,
you big wuss.
I said, what's that? And they said, oh, it's like Beck's.
Well, not quite. I don't think it's quite that good, but for £2.50 you can't argue.
No, and free parking as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think for well, let's be honest. Let's call it a tenner for a pre-match drink or 4. I think it's a good value, personally.
Yep. So I'm clicking around here. Oh, we've lost James. So Tim, just speak now, and I want to see if it jumps to you.
Yeah. What do you want to say?
No, it didn't jump, did it? Right. Okay. Control room.
I've
Right.
just got Tim permanently in front of me, which isn't a problem necessarily, but that's what I'm looking at.
Sam's saying, can he be invited? But I don't know how to invite him.
Do you want me to invite him again? No.
Yeah, he said because he had 2 open or something.
Right, okay.
We will get going eventually.
Oh, I'm pissed now. Right, I've invited him again. Do you think it's better jumping between presenters as they speak, or to let me control it?
Oh, definitely for you to control it, mate.
Right, okay.
Agreed.
Right, Sam back. I'm just going to get the Blackpool FC Twitter feed up, so we can have something to talk about. I think Nick's here. Is Nick here?
No! There's no way he's going to manage this.
Oh. Hang on. Oh, it's coming. Oh, it's coming.
He's 50 minutes late.
Something's happening on my phone. Fuck. It's my phone. Hang on. It's my phone. I need to log off. Hang on. I need to log off on here. Can you believe this is going out live?
Can we not edit it down?
I'm sure they're tuning in their droves.
Well, it was always a
They had the
trial.
matches live too.
It was always a trial, this.
Tim, are you on BLT next week?
Yeah.
What, bacon, lettuce and tomato?
Yeah, we're on box luxury travel to Rotherham next week.
Yeah, he's got about 65 going, I think.
Yeah, he was saying that I was speaking to Dave and Ram before the game today, and they were saying that there's 52 for sure. And yeah, he's had 60-odd people wanting to go on, so he's trying to get I don't know if there is such a thing, but a 65-seater coach he's trying to organise.
That's what he said today when I saw it. If I ever. We got Sam back. You can hear us, Sam.
I can hear you, yeah.
Right, so we've done the intros. James, we know who you are. Matt, we know who you are. Sam, we don't know who you are. Just give us your elevator pitch. That's what they say in America, don't they?
I'm the son of Tam. On the football golf.
Son of Tam. What are you doing in America?
Studying and playing soccer.
Soccer? Soccer?
What hell, soccer?
Socher.
You've got to think of everyone who's on the broadcast, so.
Socher, live World Series of Socher with Sammy Fielding, Son of Tam.
Welcome.
What are you studying, sir?
Doing a liberal arts degree and maybe hoping to go into sports management or business at some point. So.
Are you any good at football compared to those Yanks over there?
Yeah, I think so. There's a few.
He's not as good as
it's a good standard. It's very similar to back home. And
what have you got to say about that, Tim? Is he a chip off the old block?
Well, he's learned some of my tricks, but not them all.
Probably 2 or 3 of them out of.
Well, Matt, the old dog showed us a few tricks, didn't he, on the foot golf pitch?
Well, exactly.
Well, for 6 out of the 12 holes, yeah.
I think we should go for another game of that, actually, Tim.
Definitely.
I think Sam will be after a game when he comes back next month, so we have to have a Christmas special.
Yeah.
When you're back? When you're back?
The 16th of December.
Right. 17th it is then.
James, you're going to fly over for a game of foot golf? Has foot golf made it to the US and hey?
Not that I've heard of, no, but I'll try and make it an interest to the American public, so we'll see.
James, have you heard of foot golf? Has that made it over there?
It's not made it over here yet. We do it with a frisbee. You guys, you know what I mean by frisbee, like a disc.
That's gay. That's just gay.
That's totally stupid. I've not done it. I'm just saying what we have. You know, we'll come over there and impose frisbee golf on all of you if you keep this up.
You know how big golf is in America, and football isn't. This could be the bridge between the two sports, and you could be the don of foot golf. You could make yourself be a millionaire. And if it happens, I want my 10% now. And I've got this recorded. It's my idea. This is my idea to bring foot golf to the USNA. I want my cut.
What we want to do, John, is we could arrange for a podcast foreign tour to the States. We could play the first ever foot golf international.
Definitely. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All expenses.
Matt, as the treasurer of BST, do you think there are the finances in the pot? A, is the finances there to fund this? And B, would you sanction it as the treasurer?
Well, worryingly, the finances probably are there. Whether I would sanction it or not quite sure.
Right, Tim, I want you as chairperson to overrule him.
Well, I've got the power of veto, so
right. Right. A trip to see Son of Tam is on.
Maybe we could do a sponsorship row across the Atlantic for Parky.
Right. I think it's time for a bit of me now, actually.
Oh, me.
Right, so let's get the show on the road. First ever Google Hangout on air. It's only taken us 57 minutes to get to a broadcastable state, but we are here now. So if anyone wants to broadcast this on YouTube or on Twitter, feel free to do so, but I'm not doing it. Let's just go on to the first thing, which was the team lineup. The team to face Bolton today was... I look into the camera like the consummate broadcast professional I am. Lewis, Lenihan, Donovan Daniels, Peter Clark, Kennedy, whoever he was, could be Nigel Kennedy. Perkins, O'Hara, who's been, I think he's actually got a divorce from, what's that bird called who he's married to?
Daniela Lloyd, is it?
Daniela Lloyd, yeah.
Yeah, have you seen the new Mrs. O'Hara, though?
No, she a dog.
You would.
What's that, Matt's wife? What was that?
She just agreed.
Jacob Mellis, Chris Eagles, Jacob Murphy, and gun-toting six-shooter Nile Ranger. That was for you, Sam. Out in the USA, we've lost James.
He'll be back.
He's
there
back.
You go.
He's back. James, I just said the final. We've just done the team selection. Oh, sorry, the starting 11. It was gun-toting six-shooter Nile Ranger. Could you give us a sort of a yeehaw, sort of a cowboy description of Nile Ranger?
Doggies, those are some blares. Where did you wrestle them up from, Carl? Damn, son. What a bargain, baby. And we saw it on the pitch today. Woo! Hey. Hold on. You want to make it more ironic? Remember when you fired me? I didn't even have the crap you have now.
I feel that's done it.
There you have it. It's all worth it now. All the technical difficulties. I've been waiting to do that all day, ladies and gentlemen.
It's worth coming just for that. It was worth having this live.
That's it. Sometimes I
that.
almost just send you a message on the podcast voice machines just with that, so you can play it for 30 seconds.
I think the voice machine's only in a local number, so we're missing out there. We'll go international, and we'll go international there. Right, Tim, I'm going to come to you.
There you are.
I've got no props, unfortunately. I'll learn for next time. I mean,
You've got.
Hang on a minute. So that awful garish orange/tangerine shirt you've got on isn't a prop.
Well, no. Well, I've got no glass eye. I've got a bottle. I've got no glass.
Glass eye? It was a bottle top. No, I don't want you defending me in court when my letter arrives.
I've got that screen up here, so.
Hang on a minute. We've got a message. To call from a fringe member of the Real Progress group.
Who's that?
Give us all your tangerines. Oyston says no.
Sound like Russell Crowe there doing Gladiator. Jeez.
That was my Irish impression. Come on, Matt.
I know what the on-road money is. Say it to me now.
Sign some players. No.
No, and I don't mean fucking short right backs. Proper players. Allegedly.
Don't even quick, get him out. That's getting him out of
The glasses is teamed up.
Right, should we get back on track, Tim? We want a bit of professionalism re-injected into this, so you're the man to do that, I think. Team lineup. Who the fuck are half these players? Well, Manheim, Kennedy.
Between them, they've got more points on the driving licences than we've got points on. We seem to have a team full of people who can't drive a car at the moment. Our right back is that rather special YouTube video that shows him causing £200,000 worth of damage.
Who's this?
At a petrol station.
Who?
I would commend that video. We tried to get it on, didn't we, in Sam Tai today, but fortunately the Wi-Fi wasn't quite up to scratch.
Can you clarify what you're talking about here?
The right back and the new right back we've got seemed to have a bit of a problem in driving into a petrol station. I think it was in Belgium. And, the YouTube video of his exploits is a sight to be seen, as people have to dive for cover in the shop. And his car comes hurtling through and sending all the displays all over the place.
You're laughing as if you're doing a knowing laugh here.
No, I'm just thinking this is just so typical.
Yeah, and because of course we've got various players in the squad, and we all seem to have these various difficulties when they get behind the wheel of a car. So looking at the team today, I've got to say I enjoyed the first half. I thought it was probably the most enjoyable 45 minutes of football I've seen all season.
It's not really.
I don't know you guys, but I always knew that today we were going to get into a situation where we'd run out of steam. I think that's probably a reflection of how many players we had starting who haven't played 90 minutes of football this season. We had 5 loanees in the start.
That first half, would you agree with what Tim's just said then?
Yeah, I think the first 10, 15 minutes especially, I thought we started really well. Tried to sort of pass the ball around, and it was obviously always a case of getting familiar with each other. But yeah, I think we started okay, but Bolton sort of came back into it midway through the first half, and then it was a case of we just sort of slipping back into the usual sort of here we go again type of situation, and we're just waiting for the first goal to be conceded. But we sort of huffed and puffed, and I thought the back four looked pretty solid when you consider that, let's be honest, there's only Peter Clark who's got any games behind him at this sort of level. And, you know, the right back and the left back, I quite like Lenihan at right back. I think he reads the game pretty well. I don't think he's exciting or whatever going forward, but I think he's fairly solid. And Kennedy at left back, he's just a left back, let's be honest. He's fairly standard. But he is better than what we've had in the past, which probably says more about what we've had in the past than him in particular. For me, it was just a case of we still don't look like we're going to create anything. So, first off, obviously it ended 0-0, and I think it was obviously on us even all round, really.
Tim, first thing we've got to know, actually, we've got about this, was Ian Hesford sadly passed away this week. I came into the game a tad late, and there was a replay apparently. I think I stayed in some time a few minutes after you did. It's really sad. It's really sad that Ian Hesford's died, because I think he was one of the first. I just started going. I think just after he left, I was there for a year. I think my dad first took me when I was 10, which would have been like 83, 84, and it was a real shock, I think, to Ian Hesford's passed away at such a young age.
He was the goalkeeper when I first started going to watch Blackpool. I think he, for those who, if anybody listens to this who didn't really remember him, I think he made his debut in 1977, which was like our last year in the what's now the Championship, before we got relegated. But I started watching them in 1979, and he was our keeper then. And even though we're in the what's now the First Division, he was England under-21 keeper, and he was viewed. I mean, at the time, Blackpool had a series of keepers. If you think about it, got all through the 70s, who were exceptional. You know, we'd had Burridge, we'd had George Wood, and when George Wood was sold to Everton, Hesford, and I think he was only 17 at the time, took over, and he made it his own spot. He played 200 plus games for us during that sort of 78 through to the early 80s period, and he stuck with us even though we were a very, very poor team in the early 80s. And I think he then got a move to Sheffield Wednesday, which didn't quite work out, but then he had a couple of very, very good years in England. So it's really sad for me because he was a young lad in the team, and a lot of us who, when you're sort of like 10, 11, 12, going to watch the games, particularly the younger players who are in the side, are the ones that you sort of empathise with a little bit more and have a little bit more of a relationship with, and it was quite a shock, really.
Yeah, it's funny, John. I'll just chip in that obviously we know Graham, who sits next to myself and is similar age to Tim, dare I say, and he was
75.
Yeah, well, thereabouts. And he was saying, exactly the same sort of thing. And what was amazing was that that he was saying that he made his debut at, as Tim just alluded to, 16 and 17 years of age, which is just amazing. It's crazy
for a
goalkeeper, especially. Whereas you are absolutely in the spotlight straight away, and for a guy who was replacing somebody like George Wood, who was an icon at Blackpool, to come in and do what he did after that. He didn't just come in and just play the odd game and get replaced by somebody senior. He then ended up playing 200 and odd games, and obviously he ended up being in England under 21, under 23 international, B international, and so forth. And then we were talking about it just earlier this week that it was only earlier on this season where he came on at half time and did a half time draw. For the Golden Gamble and all that sort of carry. And we always knew Ian was with respect to most of us, quite a chunky fellow, shall we say, and it's still a shock when he's 53 or 4.
It's no age.
It's no age. It's absolutely no age. And I remember being a kid, and one of my first memories really was that the fact that Blackpool had a England representative, and it was Ian Hesford. It was always Ian Hesford. it wasn't anybody else. It was always Ian Hesford up to, like I say, under 21, under 23 levels. So I was a little surprised that there wasn't anything other than the wreath and the black armbands today, i.e. a minute's silence or whatever. But at the end of the day, I think he only passed away on Thursday, so maybe the family have, quite frankly, it's a bit sort of close to the bone at the moment, and maybe there'll be something at the next home game, which I think would be good for us fans to sort of recognise, his past achievements, etc.
Yeah, so
he was a real card as well. I mean, I remember we used to go in the South Paddock, and they always used to be a chant go up of Ian, show us your arse, and he used to drop his pants.
Did he?
Yeah. He would also wander out towards the and chat to people in the crowd.
During the game.
Yeah, and he did that apparently in an England under-21 game as well at Main Road.
That's quality.
And for those who are a little bit younger, they might remember before the '96 Euros, we played a Hong Kong Select 11.
Yeah, of course, I remember that. Yeah.
He was in the goals for the Hong Kong Select 11 because he spent quite a few years playing out there in the sort of twilight of his career. So he was a real character because it was a real proper sporting family as well. Because one of his brothers was a rugby union player at a very high standard, and Steve, I don't know his first name, but Steve, his brother, was also a rugby league player and played the top level of rugby league at the same time. So they were an interesting family, and characters.
I remember just one other thing. I remember I don't know whether you were around, Tim or John, at that particular time, but Blackpool played away at Maidstone when they were just. I think we were both League Two clubs.
Was it 0-0? Was it 0-0?
It was 0-0.
I went to that match from Blackpool.
There you go, and I was there as well. And there's yeah, I was there. And the two.
It's funny you should say. I think back to going to that game, and I remember thinking, why the fuck did I go to that?
Likewise.
Absolutely miles away. It's in Kent. It's in Kent.
Exactly.
And do you remember behind the goal? There was just like some houses and like a net.
The only thing there was two things I remember about that particular game. One of them was the fact that we had Ian Hesford in nets.
Yeah.
Sorry, Maidstone had Ian Hesford in nets.
That's right. Yeah.
And the other thing was that we had Carl Richards up front.
Yes.
I don't know why I remember those two things.
Yeah.
And I think it was 0-0. It was exactly.
It was 0-0.
It was like 15 hours to get there.
Yeah.
15 hours to get back. And it was 0-0. And I just remember thinking, what the hell have I done going to bloody Maidstone?
I just come out of the coach, out of the sports coach.
Yeah, we were probably yards apart. I can't remember driving that day.
We didn't know each other then, did we?
No. So, but there you go. That was Ian Hesford. Obviously,
brilliant memory. Yeah.
Twilight of his career at Maidstone, bless him. But there we go. So,
right, we've lost James. So, Tim, going back to the game today. First half, we hit the bar. Jacob Mellis, drilled shot deflected. From my angle, I was in the west. I always thought it's hitting the bar. This, it was always hitting the bar more than it was going in. If you know what I mean.
And it was it wasn't just a slight deflection. It sort of
the
actual challenge sent it sort of about.
Do you remember England
bar, and then it dropped down onto it. And
do you remember England v West Germany in the
Bremer?
90? Yes.
Yeah.
Andreas Bremer. It was almost like that.
Closed down by Paul Parker, I think.
Correct. Yeah.
And Shilton.
Sam's looking at us and saying, "You old bastards."
What's that Man United shirt on the wall?
No, I was going to use that one over there, but
good
I'll
lad.
move it now for you. I'll move it for you just for this.
But you've still got a Man United shirt on the wall. I need you to explain that to me.
Yeah, that's next to the John Elway shirt.
There was a Preston one in there until the end of last season.
What?
So, yeah, he'll have to explain.
What? Go on.
Who's Kapovic?
Cape.
What?
Oh, it's my roommate's American football.
What's this Preston shirt thing?
Preston shirt thing.
Tim?
Well, you had a Preston shirt up in your bedroom.
Oh, my roommate who came over with me was a Preston fan, and every morning I woke up, I saw this massive flag in front of me, and I felt sick when I woke up. I had no intention of bringing it down, but I'm glad he's gone back now, so I've just got my Blackpool flag in my room.
Who's Kaepernick?
I think he's San Francisco 49ers. I don't follow it. It's my
American
roommate,
football. American football.
Yeah.
Speaking of American football, we've lost James, haven't we? I'll try and get him back on. Reinvite him.
But that can come down as well in a minute.
Tim, Mellis was looking alright until he went off injured. Or Tim or Matt, would you concur with that opinion? Mellis?
So I'm just waiting for Tim. He's frozen up.
Look at that picture.
It's a weird. It's not his most flattering, is it?
You go around the house, that's the picture that's most on the walls, so he's not used to it.
Right, in that case...
He's back. Oh,
he's back. There we go. Right.
Get rid of the other Tim. But
repeat the question.
Tim, I was just talking about Mellis. He was having a half-decent game until he went off with a hamstring injury. I was wondering if you concurred with that opinion.
It was looking all right. I think the problem always is when you've been out with an injury and you come straight back into the starting team. You're always, there's certain players who always seem to pick up injuries, aren't there? And Mellis, bless him, seems to be one of those. And I thought he had a good. I thought we were playing well while he was on the pitch. I think Matt alluded to it earlier on when he talked about the fact that we'd started very well, but then dipped off, and I think Mellis was part of that, 20-minute spell where we were doing really, really well.
I've always liked Mellis. I think he's he's a quality player, and the fact that we had our best player with him in the team goes to illustrate that fact. And it's just sod's law that one of our most creative midfielders just going off and getting injured. And it's just
as soon as you saw him grab the back of his leg, and you knew his hamstring had gone again, and said to Sean, who was with the game, and said he's not staying on, and it was obvious as soon as he went down, that was the end of his game, which would be unfortunate. Hopefully he's not out for too long, because I've got to say, when I saw the starting lineup today, the first time probably this season where I thought, actually, that team on paper doesn't look too bad.
Yeah.
Obviously we didn't know much about Kennedy at left back, and I think he's functional as a left back. Probably just plays it safe. But particularly when he got into midfield and in the forward positions, you start thinking, actually, this team could do a bit of something. And we competed today, which was good to see. Because a lot of the games we've gone to this season, we've not been at the races. And I think it's too late. I think it's too late for us to actually save ourselves, if I'm being honest. But at least what's left of the season, if we can go out there and actually participate and feel like we can pick points up, that's got to be the start, hasn't it? Because we've had too many games where we've actually gone there, and it's been obvious from the moment we stopped we aren't getting points.
James, you're doing a lot of fiddling around there, and he's gone. And it's gone. Right, Matt, we'll come to you then. Lee Chung-yong hit the post. A very good attempt. He's been a bit of a thorn in our side, this little Chinese fella, hasn't he? Over the years. I'm adopting a Dave Whelan approach of
Yeah, I noticed that.
I said Chinese, I didn't say chinky. Oh, hang on, I just said.
I think he was a little bit of a nuisance, shall we say.
He was what?
To be honest, he was a bit of a nuisance, wasn't he?
Yeah.
To be honest, he's the only one who causes any problems, quite frankly.
Hang on, mate. I'm looking through the Twitter feed now. Actually, let's just go on to the penalty incident, as it were. Tom Kennedy, the chap who's on loan from, I think it's Rochdale, can't even get to the Rochdale side, but can get into good enough for Blackpool. James, you're shaking your head there. You got something to say about that? I don't think so.
Or maybe not.
Sam, going.
It is an indictment, though, isn't it, on where we're at when a player who can't. We had it a little bit last season, didn't we, where we're bringing players in from Wolverhampton Wanderers who couldn't get in their team. But I think it sort of hit home a little bit more with me, this one, because if he can't get Rochdale's team in the division below, should he really be playing in the Championship? And not only just coming in, but starting. And, he only signed today, and he's straight in. And it shows what problems we've got at left-back when, for 3 or 4 years, we've excelled there. We've had Craney, we've had Bob Harris, and then we end up in a situation where, we're having to beg, borrow and steal from teams who, with the best one in the world, should be, always a division below us on traditionally where we've been and where they've been at, and yet we're borrowing their players. It's
a joke, isn't it? Well, yeah, but he was the man who was responsible for the back pass to Lewis. An awful back pass. Joe Lewis has rushed out, clipped their guy from the edge of the box. Can't remember who it was. And the ball was going off to the corner flag. I mean, Matt, you probably had a better view of it from where you were.
Yeah,
I was almost level with it, and I knew it wasn't in the box. I think the only bone of contention was whether he was going to send him off or not. But for me, he wasn't in control of the ball, and also it was going to the corner flag, so it wasn't a clear goal scoring opportunity. And the only thing that I was worried about was the fact that it was in front of those masses of Bolton fans, and they were baying for blood almost, as you would do in that sort of situation. So for you, was it the correct decision?
It was. I said to Graham, it wasn't outside the area and it wasn't sending off because the ball was going towards the corner flag, exactly as you just said. And it would have been only a weak referee who would have given it any one of those two decisions, i.e. a penalty or a red card. And, naturally, I was delighted that, he took the time. Quite frankly, he was. To be honest, this referee today, I thought he was spot on. I can't remember one thing that he did wrong. He let the game go as best he could, and all the rest of it. Especially when it came to that particular incident, which was really the only big incident in the game, he got it absolutely spot on.
Right. Yeah.
It was a yard outside the area, and for me, I think it was it Craig Davis possibly, who. Was fouled by Joe Lewis, who, for me, I thought he almost died before Joe Lewis got there. So for me, it was at worst a yellow card and at worst a free kick, and that's exactly how it turned out. So, for me, that was fine. He did exactly what he needed to do. So,
Sam, did you watch the street? Oh no, you've just been in bed, haven't you? Oh, just got up.
Oh yeah, I watched the Arsenal games, but I didn't watch the Blackpool game today. But...
Right, okay. James, you still with us? No, he's not. Right, let's just move on to the second half now. Match of the day's coming up, so we'll try and wrap this up. Second half largely without incident, apart from the 2 goals that I've said. The first goal for Blackpool, a free kick, won by, is it Josh or Jacob Murphy? I keep forgetting which one we've got. Is it Jacob?
Jacob.
He won the free kick. Nice little powerful one into the box. Got fouled. What are you shushing?
My lads was coming and they're laughing because they can see their older brother on the screen.
Look at Matt down in that drink.
What are you going to do?
You don't got this on a podcast, do you?
What the public don't know.
So yeah, I mean, when Murphy stepped up to take this free kick, he's obviously an unknown quantity at free kicks. And I was thinking as he shaped up to take it, I was like, he must have something to, the young lad on the pitch to be grabbing the ball and taking the free kick, and he did have something. What a strike into the top corner!
Fantastic, wasn't it? You know, I must admit, because the second half had been poor, and I was just saying to guys around me, you know, that we were actually mentioning Matt Marn saying it because in a joking fashion, saying, oh, "Well, we haven't got our free kick specialist. I wonder what."
Sorry,
there was a hint of irony in the comment.
Just a little hint.
And you know, he set up well. He approached it well. He you know, he killed it. He killed his run in, and he lifted it over the wall and went right in the top left-hand corner. It was, and you know, we're at the other end of the pitch, but obviously in some respects you got a very good view of it because you were right down the length of it, and it curled. I'm interested to see it again, but it seemed to curl quite well into that top left-hand corner over the wall. I mean, it's a classic free kick. Really.
Mark, right in front of your vantage point.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's funny, really. I was the last time I saw a free kick like that, and I'm not, you know, exaggerating or anything, but the last time I saw a free kick like that was Beckham against Greece at Old Trafford. And I know that sounds ridiculous, given that it's Blackpool.
No, it's just like it.
You know, bloody whoever it was, Bolton. Can't remember who we played then. Christ.
The Wanky Wanderers, Matt. The Wanky Wanderers.
The Wanky Wanderers. But you know, it was that good. You know, there was like literally a yard he could have put it into, and he did it. So you know, fair play to him. He's obviously practiced it a lot, and you could tell by the way that Jamie O'Hara gave him the free kick. And Jamie O'Hara is the sort of character you would imagine that if it had been left of centre, you wouldn't get anybody near it. It was his free kick, his domain, and all the rest of it. But you know, as Jim obviously explained, it was precise,
sublime.
And it was sublime. Yeah, it was absolutely where it needed to be, and the keeper had absolutely no chance. So therefore, it was you know, it was absolutely the best free kick you could possibly imagine. And to be honest, it was the only chance. It was the only way we were going to score. Rather, I couldn't see us scoring in open play. We were only going to score off a free kick or a corner or a set piece, blah blah blah. And you know, the fact that we scored with 13, 14 minutes left, something like that. You know, we all got a bit excited that it was going to be 3 points. Well, hey, you know, I think we probably at the start of the game would have taken a point, and you know, so we'll talk about the next 5 or 6 minutes now, as I say.
Yeah. I think for me, the next 5 minutes, it was real backs to the wall stuff. And Tim, for me, it was no surprise really when we equalised, because we sort of went in our shell almost, defended deep, and the goal itself came from it was just a mess really for me. It was a hacked overhead kick by one of their players. Perkins, the ball's come to him. He should have just headed it back where it's come from. But he's tried to do like a Kevin Keegan in that 1982 World Cup game when he's, you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's tried to do that.
He's tried to do too much.
Yeah, he's tried to be too clever. I mean, Perkins, he had a terrible game today. It was awful. And that was the cherry on his stinker of a game. He's headed it straight into the path of, what was his name? Lee Chung-yong. And this guy's quite lethal in the 16-yard box, and he finished it really well. Just kept his head down, drilled it low. Lewis had no chance really, and I think it was inevitable.
It was a great finish, and like you say, you're looking, you know, you're playing your percentages when you're back there defending, and it's just really should just be a case of getting that out, and he just completely fluffed it, and it just dropped to the guy as sweet as he could want it, and first time hits it, and like you say, Lewis didn't really have any chance. It was a good goal from him, to be fair. And what was noticeable, we'd had a 5 or 10 minutes, even though we had backs to the wall, where I thought probably again for the first time this season, the crowd were really behind the team. There was plenty of noise. There was the the LELEO Blackpool song going continuously. As soon as that goal went in, it went flat as a pancake. And I think we just knew we needed to win today, even to give ourselves the faintest of hopes. And a draw suited Bolton, I think, a lot more than it suited us.
Yeah, I think we had to get 3 points today to have any sort of chance of staging a fight back and getting rid of that 10-point deficit. I think it's a lost cause now for me.
Well, we did, and I'd be interested to know what Sam's perspective is that we're trying to defend a 1-0 lead, and obviously is Sam who's doing his best to teach our compatriots across the water there how to defend a corner or a set piece and all the rest of it. And for me, when I was a kid, not even a kid, even a young adult, and if a ball came into the box, you would basically head it back from pretty much where it came from.
That's what you're taught, aren't you? You head it back where it came from.
You had it back from where it came from, or as close as damn it, because at the end of the day, then you're minimalising the chances of a shot coming in. And for me, Perkins got it absolutely horrendously wrong. In that, what he could have done is 3 things. He could have done what he did, unfortunately. He could have headed it back from where it came, or he could have headed it back towards the centre of the middle of the pitch, and
he could have actually left it.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. But where I was sat, I wasn't able to see exactly what his position was. But if he's got his head on the ball, then for me, it's obviously the one of the 2 obvious choices as opposed to the third, which typical of where we are and what we're doing and all the rest of it is what he chose in inverted commas to do, and that's where your clever footballer comes into the equation, I guess, is that he didn't necessarily think about the worst consequence. He just thought about getting his head on it and
doing a Keegan-esque flash.
And doing the basic. The basic is you get your head on it. The best is you get your head on it and think about where it's going to go. And he didn't think about where it was going to go, and therefore, ended up, and typically, of course, where our season is, they ended up with probably the worst player that it could have landed to. Yeah. One touch and a half volley back into the far corner, and you can't deny that it was a good finish.
Yeah, it was a good finish.
But like you say, it sort of typified the. I think Perkins is at best a good to average player.
But he's not good enough, is he?
He's not. He's a hard-working midfielder, and that's it. It's simple as that. He's not going to. All he's there is to break up play and give it to somebody, quite frankly, who's better than he is. Mm-hmm. And that's his role. But unfortunately, he didn't do it today. He didn't do any of what he's normally expected to do today. I thought he was 5 out of 10 if I'm going to give him a rating.
That's the worst passing play today of all the games.
Yeah, that was it exactly. He played the worst pass of the day. Unfortunately, in the wrong area at the wrong time.
I think. Sorry, Matt, just to interrupt. I think
go for it.
You're saying that's his role, and I agree with that. But if you compare the likes of him to Keith Southern, who performed a very similar role, that was his role in the team.
Yeah.
I mean, Keith Southern's a far greater player in that position than David Perkins.
Undoubtedly. I think it comes with experience to a certain degree.
But I think my point is that's the level that we are at now.
Yeah, it's funny, really. We were talking about at some point during the game today. We were talking about I don't know how we got into the conversation. We were talking about Cardiff away 2 or 3 years ago when we looked at the team sheet, and I've got friends over in Cardiff, and me and my mate who were from Blackpool, Graham, as you know, and we were talking about the team sheet at the time, and we were playing Cardiff, which was towards the end of the season, and we were just saying, God, we're going to get an absolute muller in here because the team sheet was what it was, and we ended up winning 3-1, and Matt Phillips had an absolute stormer, and David Vaughan had a stormer, and one or two fringe players had a stormer. But now that so-called fringe team, well,
The French team would walk into our A team today.
They would absolutely, and that's the difference. It's just like massive. You know, this team today wouldn't even polish the boots, quite frankly, of certain players in 3 years ago. But that's
dog shit.
Well,
Dog shit. That's the best description I have of that team. It's just a farce. It's a bunch of strangers. It's a joke. 2-month contracts. I mean, where do we go from here, Tim, apart from League One?
I have a theory. I think there's this method behind these 3-month contracts. I think, first of all, I think players have been persuaded to come on cheap money.
Yeah.
On the basis they put themselves in the shop window. But if they're putting themselves in the shop window, it won't be to stay with us. It's to move on to somewhere where they can earn more. The second theory is that if we're still anchored at the bottom come January, the businessmen may well decide that it's not worthwhile paying certain players the money that they want, and they may do a Barnsley, which is my new expression, of just clearing out all the players, as they did with players like Perkins at the last year, and focus on cheap and youth players. Well, they have them. Whether we've got them is a moot point. With a view to preparing themselves for League One, and I think there's some of that going on, because players like O'Hara and Eagles aren't going to be staying beyond January. I don't know what money they're on now, but they're not going to stay beyond January unless they get a decent salary, and we're not going to pay decent salary when we're heading to League One. So I think it probably suits both sides. It's a short-term fix for us, but I think we're all going to have to prepare ourselves and steel ourselves for the fact that we ain't seen the worst yet.
And on that positive note, I think that draws this first ever Google Hangout to a conclusion. I think it's been challenging. It's been as challenging getting this set up and running as it has been watching Blackpool this season. But hopefully Hopefully it's the first of many. It's a good opportunity for us to vent our spleen and get in touch with some of our listeners, like Mr. James Guy out in the USA. Thanks for joining us, James. And he's on a wall. Matt, I'll see you soon, just round the corner.
You will indeed, yeah. I think the connection between South Shore and South Shore is obviously a bit better than South Shore and South... What the hell is
cheers, thanks for joining us, Sam.
No worries, it's been a pleasure.
What are you up to for the rest of the day?
Might as well go to the beach, it's only a 5-minute walk away.
Right, well, how do I exit him? There he goes. He's yeah.
Yeah. I've got a beach fight. I've got a beach 5 minutes away as well. It's not quite California, is it?
Doesn't quite compare though, does it?
It's got condoms on there. Has he got condoms in his? Has it got dog turds? We've got dog turds, haven't we, Matt?
So it's all Tim Fielding's dog's turds.
And on that note, I'm going to bid you au revoir, and we're going to watch Match of the Day. So I'm going to press this leave call button, and I hope it records. So
yeah. Well done, mate.
Thanks.
Good effort.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you soon. See you, Joe.
Good night.